Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So going back to that car example, one of the things that you want to remember is that when you actually, call a class and, create an object out of it, later on, you actually have to use that, object, right? And again, these objects are anything that you name it, right? We talked about it in the previous lesson. So now, next step after calling an class and turning it into an object, creating an object essentially, is to actually pull the attributes of that, object. So this is where the attributes come in, where we actually start using this class and, using its objects, using its, attributes to actually do something. For example, in the car example, we created the object out of the blueprint, out of the class, and then now we can actually use this. For example, car speed, car fuel. Obviously, these are attributes of the car, things that the car has, right? And things that the car do. So like, again, it's just, these are the things that you will be using after you create an object from a class. So like, with that being said, that's something we want to talk about in this lesson. And I want to talk about a few other things as well. So let's actually close this off. And let's go ahead and talk about creating multiple classes and actually using the attributes of the objects. So the first thing I want to talk about is let's actually print something. How about that? So let's actually go ahead and let's clear this up. Let's actually print. I'm going to print the object that we just created, which is Tom, right? So if I print this, something is going to happen. Take a look. So we're going to get the location of this turtle class, a turtle object, in the memory. But another thing that we saw was a really quick screen that just appeared. Take a look. See? So that's essentially the graphics that, that comes with the turtle graphics library. And it's, appearing in screen in front of you. So that is basically what the turtle graphics library is, right? It's going to help us to actually create windows and all that stuff. So with that being said, we got like a result, which is again not important at the moment. We don't care about this. And we got a quick window. So let's go ahead and actually do, import another thing from this library. Now in this case, we're going to import a function. Now we can use the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually, from the turtle, import turtle, and then I'm going to add a comma here. I'm going to import the screen. Now there's a whole, by the way, one of the things I want you to remember, there's a whole library, there's a whole guide for this turtle library, which we will talk about later on. I'll show it to you, but like there's a lot of commands and all these things that you can actually import using the turtle library. So in this case, we're just going to stick with the screen, and again, you will get to that later on. And now I can actually control the screen that appears. So if we actually, let's actually comment this out real quick, and let's go here, and I'm going to actually create a new object out of this function. Again, this was a function that we imported, although it really doesn't matter in this case, but like, if you take a look, I see it, you see the F icon, right? It's a function. But anyways, so I'm going to call this my screen. All right, so we're going to say equal screen, and take a look, it automatically pulls up this, class or this function. So we're just going to call that. There you go. So now we assigned a new object. We made an object out of this, screen function. So now we can actually pull its attribute. So I want to do something. I want to print this real quick. I'm going to say my screen, and I'm going to say canvas height. So as see, if I the moment I put the dot in here, we see all the available attributes that we can actually use. So we got the functions, and we got all sorts of things that we can actually import, right? And we can use, because we imported turtle libraries, the screen function. So I'm just going to use the canvas height, and let's take a look. So if I print this, we're going to get the canvas height, the default canvas height. So if I print, again, we're going to get our white screen for a second, and then we're going to get 300. That is the default canvas height. So that's what we just saw, right? So that's pretty much how this whole thing works. It's a very, very simple, like, library, and it's going to pull up all this information using the attributes, and we can access a lot of different attributes. And that's something I'll show you in the next video. But I just want to show you, this is how you actually call these, attributes. You call the object that you created, right? And you actually, call the attributes of that object. And you can actually do a lot of different things with this. And that's something we will talk about more. But I just wanted to actually call this and show to you exactly how this works. But guys, as we see, we're getting into more complicated subjects, and we're getting into more advanced, like, parts of the object-oriented programming. So make sure you pay attention and practice this for yourself. And we're going to talk about the full guide as well, because I want you to see exactly what you can do with Turtle Library. But we're going to get into it slowly, because I want you to understand this, step by step. But one of the things I recommend right now is, when you're done with this video, just like, pause the video and, like, go ahead and actually create a couple of these, objects for yourself, and just work with it. Take a look at the options you have available here. Take a look at all these things that you can do, and take a look at them, see what do they offer, right? And again, we'll get to the more complicated stuff as we go down the road. So let me know if you have any questions. If not, I'll see you in the next one.